let's talk about these conference finals matchup. Let's start with the Western Conference Finals. Minnesota against Oklahoma City. Minnesota, the upstart, the back half of the first round bracket. They beat the Lakers. They beat the Warriors. Now they get back to the conference finals for the second straight year. The Oklahoma City Thunder, the only team in this group that is chalk. 68 wins in the regular season. Had to go through a grueling 7-game series with Denver, but they are right where they are supposed to be in this conference finals. Biggest variable for you in this matchup is what?
Yeah, I would say it's the player that you're mentioning, Jalen Williams. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, yeah, there's some up and down games, but I suspect that he is going to be Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. With Jalen Williams, he went through a few games where he wasn't shooting the ball well, and then obviously he came through very effectively in Game 7. But dating back to the playoffs, and I know that you've been beating this drum for a while now, it's all true. How well he shoots the ball and how well he provides additional scoring punch to complement Shea is usually the difference maker between a win or a loss. Now, I'm a big believer in the Thunder, even though they got through a challenging 7-game series that some thought would be a lot shorter. I think that has more to do with the Denver Nuggets being good than any red flags about the Thunder because Shea's still playing at a great level. They have so many wing defenders with Alex Caruso, Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, Cason Wallace. I like their front court options with Holmgren and Hartenstein as pick and roll partners with Shea, and they're great defenders. So I think that they obviously have a lot of things going for them. They're an elite defensive team. I think they lead the league in so many different defensive categories, both tangible and intangible. But I think the difference maker with all those things is going to come down to Jalen Williams and how much scoring punch he can give Shea on a game-to-game basis.
Yeah, I agree. And I like I said, I've written that a lot, that, Jalen Williams is the X factor for this team. If he plays up to his potential, they're pretty much unbeatable because they're so good defensively. They've got so much star power at the top with Shea and Holmgren and some of the pieces that they have. If Jalen Williams is playing like an all-star every night, nobody's going to touch them the rest of the playoffs. I've got a few other variables. One is something of an unknown. Minnesota last year in the conference finals was gassed. Like they had nothing left going up against Dallas, particularly Anthony Edwards. He went through that tough series against Denver, and maybe they would have lost the Mavericks anyway, but they didn't seem like they had anything left. Karl-Anthony Towns was terrible in that series, except for like one game, but they didn't have anything left in the tank. Will Oklahoma City feel something similar after going through their grueling series against the Denver Nuggets? The Wolves have been hanging around, drinking mocktails for a few days now, just relaxing, waiting to see who's going to come out of that bruising conference semifinal matchup. The Thunder turn around, what was it, like a day and a half of rest before they have to go into this next game. Is there any fallout from that? The Thunder are a deeper team than Minnesota was last year, and if they feel a little bit shot in the legs, they can go to the other Jalen Williams on the bench and a whole bunch of other guys, maybe go a little deeper, go 9-10 deep in this opening couple of games. But that's something I'm going to watch early on. Minnesota should be the fresher team. Does that make an impact in this game? Anthony Edwards, of course, is number 2. Edwards has not played well against the Thunder during the regular season this year. And that's a credit to the Thunder, who have so many defensive weapons they can throw at him. You begin with Lou Dort, one of the best defensive wings out there, physical, strong, got a body up on Edwards. You got Cason Wallace, who can step in, do similar things. Alex Caruso coming off a phenomenal Game 7 performance against Nikola Jokic. He plays Anthony Edwards really well. Some of the numbers of him going up against Edwards one-on-one, Caruso's pretty good at. Like Edwards, he's got to have a shooting percentage mid to high 40s, 3-point percentage mid to high 30s. He's got to give them 25-ish points per game. He's got to be elite in this series, I think, for them to win. And the other is Julius Randle. Like Julius Randle, who is exercising his New York postseason demons in this playoffs, has been fantastic for this team. Shooting efficiently, not turning the ball over, just playing like the regular season version we've seen of him in so many years. This is another tough matchup for Julius Randle because Jalen Williams, who I think is going to draw the starting assignment on him, he has played well against him in the regular season. Well, it was only one regular season matchup, so he played well in that matchup. And the Thunder, like, they're an active defensive team. They are elite at forcing turnovers. Julius Randle has been a little turnover happy in the past. Like, if they start getting the hands on the ball when Randle's in the post or Randle's in the perimeter, forcing turnovers, I think they had 16 live ball turnovers forced against Denver in Game 7. That is a recipe for disaster for Minnesota. So that's a long way of saying I think a lot of things got to go right for Minnesota to win this series. I think Edwards has got to be elite, and Randle has got to be the Randle we've seen in the first couple of rounds. And even then, I don't know if it guarantees anything against a team as deep and talented as Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I think that to the first point that you made, will there be any sort of fatigue factor with the Thunder? You never rule it out, but I don't think it's going to happen because, to your point, they have a lot of depth. They're very young. I think when you're looking at each individual player, they're all known for having pretty good training habits to build the kind of endurance that you need for the postseason. And with the Wolves here specifically, um, yes, they have gotten to this point. You could argue partly because of external circumstances. Lakers don't have a center. Their defensive effectiveness post Anthony Davis trade finally kind of emerged that was more of a mirage than a trend in the playoffs. And then obviously the Warriors with Steph Curry, but being hurt in the middle of game one with the hamstring. But they have all become the best versions of themselves. They do have a lot of roster depth. I don't think it matches up with the Thunder, but they have a very respectable starting lineup and bench. Anthony Edwards, he's increased his game to another level, both tangible and intangible. The tangible, he's a better three-point shooter. He's a better playmaker. He's a more consistent scorer. Intangible, he's become much more comfortable being that locker room leader post Carl Anthony Towns trade and just having another year of experience. He feels more empowered. Julius Randle, beyond the fact that he's trimmed down, the bad decision making, the recklessness, and really honed in on the things that make him great as this bruising playmaker that can be almost Lamar Odom like back in the day with being a really great facilitator, knowing how to get to the rim, being a team oriented guy. His dynamic with Rudy Gobert has improved a lot. I think that they would still be a better team with Carl Anthony Towns, but I get why they trade him because of the financial concerns. But when you're looking at their pairing, the spacing's a lot better, the communication's a lot better. Rudy's been able to be a much more effective defender. He's not obviously ever going to get the lion's share of offensive touches, but he's been there to get offensive rebounds and easy putbacks. But I think when you add all those things up, and Naz Reid being a great two-way guy, Jay McDaniels, same thing. Mike Conley still extending his career as if he's still discovered the fountain of youth. It's not enough against the Thunder team. I mean, they're just so well coached, so well stacked with every positional need, and they have Gilgeous Alexander, who I think is going to win MVP once it's all announced.
Yeah, I'm going Thunder at 6, and
Yeah, same
I
here.
could see Thunder in 5 if we're being honest. I don't like the matchup at all. I don't. I think the Thunder are going to force a lot of turnovers in this series. I think they're going to force Edwards to shoot low percentage. Edwards has had some great games in the postseason. He's also had a few stinkers, at least a couple of stinkers in the postseason. So I think they're as capable as any team in the NBA of forcing that. And I said this with Rachel last week. Like, the jury to me is still out on this Minnesota team. Like, they're in the conference finals for the second straight year, but are they better than the team from last year? I can't say that yet. They've had too kind of cushy a road to this point. I mean, you play the teams that are in front of you. They got the Lakers. They pounded the Lakers. Steph Curry went out. They took care of business. But they've had some favorable circumstances here. So I don't think they've been as battle-tested as they need to be to make me believe they can win a series like this. So I'm going Thunder in 6, maybe even Thunder in 5 if they take the first couple of games of this series.